In the towering glass fortress of Innovitek, a young black intern named Jamal felt a spark of genius. He'd spent sleepless nights crafting a proposal, a revolutionary idea he believed could save the company from its slow, agonizing decline. Innovitek, once a titan of the tech world, was now bleeding market share, its products feeling stale and outdated. Jamal's idea was a radical pivot, a move into a new, untapped market that aligned perfectly with emerging consumer trends. He saw the future, and he had mapped out every step to get there. His heart pounded against his ribs as he stood outside CEO Mr. Harrison's opulent office. This was it. This was his chance to be more than just a guy who fetched coffee and made copies. He took a deep breath, straightened his tie, and knocked. Harrison, a man whose silver hair and expensive suit screamed old money and older ideas, barely glanced up from his paperwork. "What is it?" he grumbled, his voice dripping with impatience. Jamal began his pitch, his voice shaking slightly at first, then growing in confidence as he detailed his vision. He spoke of market analysis, user demographics, and a phased rollout plan. He had data. He had passion. He had a clear, actionable strategy. For a moment, a flicker of something was it interest crossed Harrison's face, but it vanished as quickly as it appeared. Harrison leaned back, a condescending smirk playing on his lips. "An intern," he said, drawing the word out as if it were an insult. "You think you've found the silver bullet that my entire executive team has missed?" He picked up Jamal's meticulously prepared folder, flipping through it dismissively without reading a single word. "This is ambitious and naive." He tossed the folder onto his desk, a final, dismissive thud that echoed the closing of a door in Jamal's face. "Stick to your assigned tasks, son. Leave the big thinking to the people who are paid for it." Crushed, Jamal walked out of the office, the weight of Harrison's disdain heavy on his shoulders. He didn't just dismiss the idea, he dismissed Jamal. He saw a young, black intern, and his prejudice blinded him to the brilliance laid out before him. Jamal's mentor, a kind senior engineer named Sarah, saw the dejection on his face. He explained what happened, and she sighed, the knowing sadness in her eyes. "I'm sorry, Jamal," she said softly. "His mind is as closed as his office door. But don't you ever let someone like him dim your light. That idea is gold." Months passed. Jamal finished his internship, the memory of Harrison's rejection a bitter pill he had to swallow. He took his naive idea and, with a small loan and a couple of college friends who believed in him, he started his own company from his garage. They worked tirelessly, fueled by ramen noodles and an unshakable belief in their vision. They refined the concept, built a prototype, and secured a round of seed funding from an investor who saw the same potential Harrison had ignored. Meanwhile, at Innovitek, the slow decline had turned into a freefall. Their latest product launch was a colossal failure. Layoffs began, starting with a trickle and soon becoming a flood. The once bustling hallways grew quiet and somber. Morale was at an all-time low. Harrison, increasingly frantic, threw money at consultants and marketing campaigns, trying to patch the holes in a sinking ship. But it was too late. He had treated the symptom, not the disease. One morning, the business world woke up to shocking headlines. A small startup, Nexus, had just launched a product that was taking the market by storm. It was innovative, it was fresh, and it was exactly what consumers wanted. The media hailed its young founder as a visionary. Harrison stared at his tablet. His face set. The picture of the celebrated founder was painfully familiar. It was Jamal. And the revolutionary product, it was the exact idea Harrison had tossed aside months ago. The irony was crushing. The naive intern's idea was now the talk of the industry. Nexus's stock was soaring, while Innovitek's was in a nosedive. The news sent a shockwave through Sarah watched the unfolding chaos, a grim satisfaction on her face. She remembered Jamal's passion, his meticulous research, and the casual, cruel way Harrison had dismissed him. The final blow came during a tense emergency board meeting. The company was on the brink of bankruptcy. Investors were pulling out, and their creditors were calling. As Harrison tried to deflect blame, a board member held up a tablet, displaying a news article about Jamal's success. "This," she said, her voice cold as ice. "This is the opportunity you threw in the trash." It wasn't just a bad call. Mr. Harrison, It was corporate malpractice fueled by arrogance. The words hung in the air. Harrison had no defense. His empire, built over decades, had crumbled not because of market forces or a competitor's strength, but because of his own blindness. He couldn't see the value in an idea because he couldn't see the value in the person presenting it. That day, he was forced to resign in disgrace. The doors of Innovitech were shuttered a few weeks later. The glass fortress stood empty, a monument to missed opportunity and prejudice. As for Jamal, his company, Nexus, moved into a sprawling new campus just across the street from Innovitech's deserted headquarters. He never set out for revenge. He only wanted to see his idea come to life. But in the end, his success was the most powerful statement of all. It served as a stark reminder to the entire industry. Genius can come from anywhere, and the cost of closing your mind to it can be everything. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.